Hello, this video is for the newcomer, mainly for me, so I can remember the stories about my own dogs as time goes on. The first dog I'm going to do is named Corvino. I don't like call names, but the last dog on here had a call name. I'll explain that when I get to him. But back then, when I bought a dog from Mike, you buy a dog from anybody. By the time you get the pup, 3 months later, you'd get the papers. ADB is about as slow as a two-legged turtle with a bellyache. They just, man, it took forever. So even if I single registered a dog, I just wanted one name. So I named him Corvino. By the time I got his papers, I think he was Jumpin' Jack Flash, Iron Lines Jumpin' Jack Flash. But he's a little red-nosed brindle male, about 42 pounds, unconditioned. So he was a little feller. But I remember when I first, about his first year, I happened to look out the window, and there was a big old Irish setter out there. And I thought, he's probably safe because he's a year old. He hasn't kicked off yet, so I'm not worried about that Irish setter getting hurt. And he was on all fours, and that Irish setter came up slowly but surely. And right when I thought, oh no, he's baiting him in, the Irish setter thought he was just going to lay down. Soon as he took another step, old Corvino jumped up like an alligator out of water, and he grabbed a hold of that dog, and I said, oh, shoot. So I ran outside. I didn't grab a parting stick or nothing. And by the time I ran out there and run around the backyard, he was so little, and that dog was so big and scared. He broke the hold, lucky for me, because I didn't want him. At that age and the first time, I doubt I could have broke it up to enough where he killed him. But if he would have been a little older and he had got, a taste of that scrap, and I would have been home, I'd probably come home, that dog would have been dead. But I thought that was funny how he baited him in like that. One time I went out to his chain space, and there was a dead cat. And I can't remember if I buried it or what the heck I did with it. But about 2 days later, some old lady comes up to the door. Boy, she's heartbroken. She describes her cat, got out, she can't find it. What fit that description? Well, I've always been an honest person, but I wasn't going to tell her, yeah, my dog killed your cat, because people got a way of, their animals gets loose, it gets on your yard, and your dog kills it, they're mad at you like you're in the wrong when they should have had their animal on the leash or in the house or whatever. So I chose not to tell her, your cat's gone. Another time I go out there to feed him, there's a raccoon out there dead. I said, oh man. I knew some guys that had coon dogs, and they talked about shooting a coon out of the tree and their dog running at it to grab it, and them fighting, and that coon shot still whipped that big old coon dog's ass. So I was like, man, it's time to go to work. I'm going to have to bathe him in medicated soap and patch him up. I get him off the chain. I'm a little pissed, and take him in the house. Ain't a spot on him. So I think he probably grabbed that coon by the neck and either broke his neck or suffocated him, or both, from the hold. So he was a crazy little dog, but he was a good one. Bred him, got some pups off of him, had some generations down from him. He was off Champion Gambler and Lilu. And I really liked that blood from Champion Gambler, bred to Lilu, or her sister, what was her name? Hamlack Hattie, I think was her name. But they was, I loved the double Broddock bitches bred to Gambler. I had a lot of luck with that. Lilu and Hattie were off of Little Red and Lightning Bug. Little Red was off of, I think, Broderick and Little Maggie. And Little Red was, and Lightning Bug was off of Broderick and Peaches. Little Red, this is just for historical purposes if you have these dogs. Little Red was a one-time OTC winner. Lightning Bug was tested hard. She was bred to get pit dogs. She was a bad little bitch with a lot of mouth. I might do a video on her one day. She had a kennel accident with a Maynard and her son and was whipping the fuck out of both of them by the time Mike discovered it. Broderick was a one-time winner. And Peaches was a one-time winner. Got her leg broke, but she won. But I loved that breeding. He was a good little dog and a pleasure to own. The next two dogs that were crazy, I could still breed Corvino though. The next two dogs that were crazy were actually brother and sister. I did a breeding of Gaines MotorHead, pure turtlebuster dog. When I say pure turtlebuster, and some of you newcomers really get back into pedigrees, I'm just talking about the first 4 generations. His pedigree was actually wrong. He was a grandson of Champion Red Dog, which is off of Norod Suzuki, 2-time winner. The papers are wrong. They got him off Kay's Ginger Snap. I did a video about it. But and also some of Kenny's dogs went back to Carver Boudreaux, and some of Kenny's dogs he bred to Champion Mike, which is off of Grand Champion Art. So when I say turtlebuster, the turtlebuster dog actually had Ross's Red Devil in there one time too. But since he's only in there one time, I just don't get real technical and just go by the first 4 generations. So I bred MotorHead to Love's B Red, a Tramp turtlebuster. Really good breeding. I can't remember how many I got out of that breeding. I kept 3. I gave a kennel around here too. They had success, I believe, with both. At least one I know. I gave a buddy 2. I believe they had success. So it was a hell of a litter. And the 3 I kept, the 2 good ones out of that was, I can't remember if I called her Kylie or Kylie. I think I called her Kylie. And Chi-Dog. And Kylie I was going to make a house dog. Out of them 3 I had left, she started whipping them 2 males and just tearing the hell out of them. And that's encouraging to know, boy, you got a dog that'll be able to accomplish anything you want. But at the same time, I don't like to see kids fight, and I don't like to see pups fight. So I don't want to see them get hurt. And she was hurting them males, and they was bigger than her. So I separated them. I took her in the house. She ended up being a great house dog. Could potty train her real quick. Very mellow dog. Just sit down on the floor while you're on the couch. Listen to you, smart. I would take her out to feed the other dogs, and when she'd run to play with the other dogs, I'd just holler at her and she'd come back. Sometimes I'd let her play with them. I've never been around a game dog that would kill a pup. That's all Humane Society bullshit. I've seen plenty of puppies around pit champions, and they just play with them. They're so badass. They're like, they want a challenge. They'd rather take on a lion than a puppy. So I'd let her play with some of the dogs, but as she started getting a little older, I didn't want her getting over there close to them because I didn't know when she would kick off. And she was a long-legged bitch. And about 9 months old, I started seeing she's getting close to him, wanting to rear up. I think she's about ready to start. So I'd let her walk back there with me, but I'd walk her. I made her a setup. I put her on the chain while I shoveled crap and fed the other dogs. And I did that for about a week, and she'd kind of try to get at the bitch beside her, which was actually Heidi, a double gambler bred bitch I bred. And man, I did that for, I can't remember, 3, 4, 5 days. And one day, they both was raising hell to get at each other. And I said, oh boy, I knew it was coming. And I think I had a litter of pups in a kennel I was tending to. And she's going nuts. Kylie was. She's jumping straight up in the air like 4 or 5 feet. I'm like, wow, this is a very athletic bitch. And she's just trying to get at Heidi, and Heidi's trying to get at her. They're about a foot apart, stretched out on the chain. And kind of laughing like, wow, man, she's a crazy little bitch. She jumps up in the air so high, she flips, comes down on her neck, hear her yelp once. She's not 8 feet away from me, and see a feces come out of her rectum, which I knew she's dead. Ran out there, grabbed a hold of her. She's gone. Couldn't believe it, man. Never had a crazy thing like that happen before or ever again with the bulldogs. But she was gone, and I that was a crazy little dog. The last dog is her brother, Chi Dog. I can't remember why I called him that, but there was a story behind it. I'd call him Chi or Chi Dog. But that's not a cool name, so that's the only time I did a call name. On his papers, I named him Dio, after the heavy metal band, Ronnie James Dio. This little guy was by far the craziest. That's why I saved the best for last. You couldn't breed him. You could back a bitch up in heat, she'd be swelled to the gills. You wanted to grab a hold of her and fight. Couldn't get him bred. One time I walked out there, and I seen a big toad, and he grabbed a hold of that toad, started shaking like hell, flew out of his mouth. He killed it in a few seconds. He started foaming at the mouth. I was like, oh my gosh, was that like a poisonous toad or something? So I rinsed his mouth out real quick, and he just shook his head and shook his head. And he laid around for 15, 20 minutes. I can't remember. This was a long time ago. But I was like, oh man, I don't know if we have poisonous toads in this state or not, but it definitely released something on him. Another time, I'm working third shift. I'm sleeping on the couch. It's 92 degrees out. It's probably about 1 o'clock. I hear dogs barking. What the hell do they keep barking at, Trying to lay down and sleep. They keep barking. I'm tossing and turning. Finally, I get up and look out the window. He's at his half-sister's. He got off the chain. They're over there fighting. I run out there, grab a breaking stick, and he had ran past his mother. When he got weaned, he got put in a kennel right beside his mama, so he knew who his mother was, so he wouldn't fuck with her. Any other dog, male or female, it was on. So he ran past his mama and went over to his half-sister Dita, and she was a good one. She was off a MotorHead, and I had bred her back to him and got good pups, it turned out. And they was so out of breath, it wasn't hard to part them. I don't know how long they'd been going at it, 92 degrees out. And I thought she had really messed him up, because he looked worse for wear. He was bloodier than hell. Well, by the time I got him parted and got him in the house, taking care of him, I'd seen it was mainly her blood on him. So I worked on him, went outside, tried to work on her. She started going fast, ended up losing her, which really sucked, because you never want to lose a good one. She was a good brood bitch. She'd only had one litter and already showed she was a producer, hell of a producer. And of course, I wanted to breed her to him, but that wasn't going to happen because you couldn't get him bred. So unfortunately, I lost her. I saved him. And when his mama come in heat, I was like, I'm going to breed him to her, because that's the only dog that he won't try to fight. So she come in heat, backed her up there like I figured. They got along, bred her to him, got a bunch of pups. I can't remember why I didn't keep any out of that litter, but I placed them only with people that would do something with them. Another kennel, that I gave some other pups to, gave them all out to friends. A bunch of them turned out. But that was just a little story on crazy dogs that, you know, a newcomer probably won't have to deal with. But, you know, when I was younger, I'd read about these dogs couldn't get bred, and, you know, they'd chew trees down, do all kinds of crazy stuff. And I thought, man, I wish I could get one. Well, when you get one, you're like, no, I don't want one, because they're a pain in the ass to own. They just, I mean, look, that was a good one, and I could only breed him to his mama. I couldn't, you know, I could have collected from him and stuff, but you're talking about a lot of money, and then to, you know, store the frozen semen and everything. It just, I wasn't about to do that. But just some little stories about the crazy dogs, the escape artists. That's what they used to call them, escape artists. I don't know how he got off that chain, but he got off of it. So there's just a few stories. I think the next video I might do on OTCs, or might do some more of iron line dogs. Might actually put some stories on here of some of my dogs. So I hope everybody has a good day.